be. She's the person that tells everybody how to do the essential skills, but is good with students, but this is her first time doing such a presentation, so take it easy on her. Throw everything you want at me, but take it easy on her. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is we're going to show you a brief video that describes who we are, what we do, and what we've done. After that video, I'll describe to you, and Sharon will describe to you how we go about doing it. Okay? So if you can't hear the video in the back, just let me know and I'll turn the speakers up.
Pretty good program. I like it. We're learning about a bunch of different like construction aspects and surveying and stuff like that.
BC Amta helped me get a job at New Gold by giving me certifications in first aid, heavy equipment operator ticket they got me.
I think it's great. If it wasn't for BC Amta, I wouldn't be working at New Gold right now. I applied on my own and had no luck, but through BC Amta, I think after meeting with BC Amta, I was hired within about 3 months. Supporting my family a lot easier now. I was able to buy a house. I just had a child, so working there, it's been perfect.
Their support it's truly amazing. Like, I wouldn't have been in women in trades. I wouldn't have moved on to industrial electrical if I didn't have that support.
Every day, the British Columbia Aboriginal Mine Training Association makes stories like these possible. Industry connections, educational support, and cultural understanding combine to form a holistic, 360-degree solution that ensures participants forge the intellectual tools and elements of character essential for success in British Columbia's biggest industry. And the need has never been greater. Even as BC's mining industry's growth continues, its most vital resource, skilled, experienced workers, is shrinking. Statistics show 25% of the industry's skilled workers will retire within 5 years.
Our industry right now is facing a significant human resources shortage. We have one of the oldest demographics in the Canadian economy. Mining is the largest private sector employer of First Nations in Canada today. And we've got participation rates increasing at a faster rate than any other sector of the economy. It's largely because our mines are where they live, often in remote areas, and this is their traditional lands. So that's in some ways it's natural, but historically it wasn't the case. Amta is helping to, I think, accelerate that the ability of First Nations to participate in mining. So that's one clear benefit.
At any given time, the association would have 50 to 100 people in upper-level training. Total BC Amta candidates, 897. The majority of those people are between 25 and 39 years old, squarely meeting the industry age gap. 231 placed in jobs. The organization has accomplished tangible success since the start.
What sets BC Amta apart from other programs, I believe strongly, is the program staff. So BC Amta staff are so passionate about changing the lives of our candidates in a positive way and providing just consistent, positive support and being able to look a candidate in the eyes on a regular basis and tell them that I believe in you.
Our bottom line is having wonderful employees who work safely, they're productive, and they're happy working here. And that's what I have found the end result is in working with BC Amta, is they're identifying people who suit the work environment here, who really have a willingness to work here, and who best of all are rooted in the community here, have been here for many years, and are happy to stay here. So we don't have a mobile workforce.
The key element of BC Amta's success is its coaches. They provide counsel, direction, and a foundation that keeps candidates determined, focused, on track, and succeeding.
My job description is heavy-duty equipment instructor, a mentor. For me, it's really rewarding because of all the years that I've worked in the mining industry. It's kind of like giving back to the industry that's treated me so well through the whole mining career.
I went from the program coach to my job now, which is the regional manager.
Slow burger.
The program coach role really is what BCM is all about. The program coach is the main point of contact for all of our candidates and the main source of support for all of our candidates. Support in a variety of ways, so emotional support, just that person to be there to talk to make sure everything's going on the mine site, or going right at the mine site or other points of employment. So really that link between the candidate, the employer, and the educational setting. So really that link to meet the needs, all of the needs of our candidates. That really is what the program coach is all about. Really sets us apart from anything else that anybody else is doing.
The best way to engage with First Nations is through partnership. It's making them feel a part of the process, helping them define objectives together with us, and helping to design, in this case, helping to design the training programs, and helping to be a part of it, making them feel inclusive, making them feel that they have ownership of it. It makes for stronger relationships, and in the end, it makes for better outcomes. I think that's why, the Amta, after just a little more than a year, is now, exceeding its targets.
It's empowering to all Aboriginal people. It's a chance to be part of something, to be part of mainstream, while we're still honoring our cultural values, we're still honoring who we are as Aboriginal people. You don't lose any of that. It's about being able to be part of something and be part of opportunities that have previously passed us by, and there's no reason why that we can't continue to be part of it.
I'd like to say a big thank you to BC Amta, because without BC Amta, I would not work in New Gold. I would not have a job in the mining.
I'd like to say thank you. Your support has been motivational and it's kept me going. Thanks.
What I would say to potential partners is to take a look at our website and all of the materials that we've developed, but mostly come and speak with us. Come and check out some of our programs, check out some of the operations where we've had great success, and it's easier to make a judgment on it when you see things working. And we've had some great success with New Afton Mine and a new gold project, and with Highland Valley Copper in Logan Lake, and we just have nothing but success stories, and to see it is definitely to believe it.
When you look at the success that this program's had, it would be a shame, for the government not to continue on with funding, something that is successful. BC Amta is a proven model. It's a successful model, and it's something that has the confidence not only of our people, but our partners in the mining industry.
Awesome job, BC Amta, keep it up.
Okay, so that's BC Amta in a 7-minute nutshell. I'm now going to, at 100 miles an hour, go through how we got to that place and how we have achieved what we've achieved. So the numbers in that presentation are already out of date. So provincially, we have over 1,000 candidates that we're working with throughout the province. So that's anywhere from Cranbrook to Kamloops to Dease Lake to Hazelton to everywhere, right? And the employment numbers are now, after 2 years, we've placed approximately 330 people in full-time positions of employment. And I think the average wage of those positions is roughly $55,000 a year, so they're not just meaningless positions that we're placing people in. So, as the slide says, success is in the process. Our process is the exact same process everywhere we go. We never vary from that. And the reason is because we know the process creates success. So we'll simplify the process for you. So everything we do is in partnership. It's in partnership with the First Nation. We can't go into a territory until we're invited in by the First Nations community. Partnership with industry, ourselves, post-secondary institutions, Aboriginal service providers, and every partnership is unique. So in most situations, a partnership involves those 5 entities, but it doesn't have to involve all 5 of those entities. So it can look completely different at any time. So training with a purpose. All of our training programs, this is the basic outline for it. The employment need is identified by the First Nations partner or the industry partner. The skills and qualifications are determined by us. The capacity of the First Nation to meet the need is examined and determined by us. The training program is designed, implemented, and delivered in partnership with BC Amta and the post-secondary institution. And then we put all the supports in place to support the learners, the instructors, and everybody involved in the partnership. Stop me at any time if you have questions. So in identifying the opportunity, in almost every situation there'll be an agreement between the industry partner and the First Nations community. That's where that opportunity comes from. So the employment opportunities come from the industry partner or the First Nations community. The mining partner then reveals to us their specific HR needs. So they can very often outline to us what their 6-month need is, what their 1-year need is, what their 3-year, 5-year need is. Everybody does it differently, but the best approach is that they project it well in advance so we can be proactive in training people. So if we know that they're going to need 20 underground miners within 6 months, we need to start preparing those people now. And of course, the starting point for all of our training programs is essential skills, which is why we're here. And so of course, the openness and willingness to share information is the benefit of all involved. If that information is shared, we can then put the training program, the training plan in place to make sure the needs of everybody are being met. Skills determined. So the industry or mining partner provides us with job descriptions of all those opportunities. Again, based on the projections of employment. We then take those job descriptions and the qualifications from those job descriptions, and we design with our post-secondary partners, we design or alter training programs to meet those specific needs. So, for example, an entry-level mining program may look completely different in Kamloops than it does in Dease Lake. But because we have such a good partnership with our post-secondary institutions, we can alter those programs to meet the specific need of the region, the industry, or the community. Capacity determined. So what BC Amta does once we know what the employment needs are, the qualifications are, we then go back to the community and we meet with community leaders to discuss that capacity with the community leaders. In most situations, they then will give us either access to their HR database. If they don't have an HR database, we then take responsibility for creating that HR database for them. Through community info sessions, we determine the interest levels of people wanting to take advantage of those opportunities. We then, in the same community info session, we do the application portion as well as the TALS assessment. Of course, how this looks is different in each community depending on where it is, depending on the time it takes us to get there, depending on the need of the industry. We then determine qualifications and capacity via resume, interview, and assessment. But all of those things are determined before we put any sort of training into place. So no training is done until we know what the essential skills levels are of the people that are going to go into the training. Programming design, BC Amta will contract, so we already have a number of post-secondary partners who are always waiting in the wings to do things for us. Namely, Thompson Rivers University, BCIT, Northwest Community College, and the College of New Caledonia are the four groups that we use consistently. As of right now, TRU has probably done, I would guess, 75% of everything that we've done. Mostly because most of our stuff has been done in the Kamloops region. So again, it's about designing the programs to meet the need of the industry and the First Nations community, and again, every program is unique. So after everything's developed and we know what we're going to deliver, we know where we're going to deliver it and who we're going to deliver it to, we put in support. So community-based supports, that means the social development worker within each community, the education worker within each community, the support of the instructors. One of the things that we do with all of the instructors, regardless of where they come from, is they sit down for a day and get some cultural teachings as to what it means to deliver such programming to First Nations learners. So regardless of who they are and regardless of what they think they know and how many times they've delivered the program, they still have to sit down with us and we still have to give them the approval to deliver our programming. What's never forgotten, regardless of who the post-secondary institution is it's our programming and it's our reputation that is going to be affected by the success or, well, I'm not going to say not success because it's always successful. The other thing, as you saw in the video, is our coaches. Our coaches have the ability to walk into a classroom at any of those post-secondary institutions whenever they want without asking for permission. That's just implied in all the contracts that we do. Same with all of our mining partners. Our coaches have the ability to walk onto a mine site and check on our workers at any time. And as you saw, mentors. We have mentors that are partially employed by us, who are working at the mine site, who our candidates can have access to at any time as well. The other supports that we put in place are fairly simple things like personal protection equipment, travel, childcare, any barrier that stands in the way of somebody being successful at school or at a place of employment. We will address that barrier. Regardless of what it is, we will find a way to address it. So, the process within the process. This is where the essential skills stuff comes in. Everything that we do, which is why I've termed it as the process within the process, everything that we do is based on essential skills. The success of everything that we've done in the last 2 years has been because of essential skills. So, the very first thing that people do is they, regardless of how it's done, they either walk into our Kamloops office, they do it by our website, they do it when we go to community, they do it by fax. However it's done, the first thing they do is an application. Very simple 2-page application. The next thing that they do is a TALS assessment. That TALS assessment, as of today, is done face-to-face. We do all of those TALS assessments with every person in the province that is a candidate. The third step, based on the assessment, is what we call our Tier 1 training, which is all of the life skills and essential skills training. Tier 2 is the industry-specific training, and Tier 3 is the trades training. And I've got slides later that will show you the difference between Tier 1 and Tier 2 and Tier 3. So again, the application process, individual members self-enroll. The reason there's a little star beside that is because we will not allow Joe's dad to apply for Joe. We will not allow the band council to apply for 10 of their members. We want each person to be responsible for their own path right from the beginning. And we make that clear at the TALS assessment. So when we do the TALS assessment, the statement we make to everybody is, you need to look around the room and you need to look at the guy sitting beside you, because if that guy sitting beside you wants the job more than you do, he's going to get it. So from this point forward, you're applying for a job. So everybody knows right from step 1 that they're responsible for their own success. We will help them be successful, but they have to do it themselves. So the TALS assessment is completed. What Sharon does in the Kamloops office is she schedules a TALS assessment in Kamloops once a month, the first Wednesday of every month. Is that what it is?
Some middle.
Depending on how she's feeling. The first Wednesday of every month is typically what we do. And I think the average, on average now, we're getting approximately 30 people. Is that what it is? 30 people per month that are showing up to those TALS assessments. Of course, based on employment need and the need of the candidates, we're always doing those one-off TALS assessments for people. So then based on the TALS assessment, the results of the TALS assessment, they then come back to our office and they create an education or employment plan based on their own wants, needs, educational levels. So I think everybody in the room is familiar with TALS. Is there anybody that's not familiar with TALS? Okay. So test of workplace essential skills. That's what it tests. As Scott was stating this morning, I don't want to say optimal, but kind of the threshold level is the 333. So we test numeracy, literacy, and document use. That's kind of the gauge that we want everybody to show up at. You can see the literacy, numeracy, and document use, and you can see the 25% mark beside that. What we know is of the 1,000 plus people that we've administered the TALS to, only 25% of them have come out of that range, which says to us that 75% of the people we're dealing with need some form of essential skills upgrading. So that's a huge amount of people. So you're clear on what the TALS is doing for us? So the thing for us, specifically BC Amta, about the TALS is we don't just use TALS as a qualification to put people in positions in the mining industry. Nobody moves on into any of our training programs until they get to the 333. The reason we do that is because we know that we have at least a 95% or 90% retention rate in positions of employment. So when we place people there, they don't get fired because of that. But we also have the same retention rates in our educational programs because of that. So that sort of threshold has worked for us in both settings. So this slide is what I just said. Okay, so the upskilling tier 1, which is where Sharon is all of the time. So Sharon staffs our training center 5 days a week from 9 to 5? 8:30 to 4:30. You'd think I would know this, right? So she's there, and the classroom is always full. There's always people there upgrading their essential skills, but she also has the ability to do that remotely, right? So through the Escalon program, there are also people working away from the center that are working on their essential skills as well. Not just in the Kamloops area, but as I said before, all over the province. So life skills and essential skills are always a starting point. There was a question this morning about, and this is my own answer, and you don't have to believe it or not, you can take it for what it's worth. There's a question this morning about emotional intelligence. I will guarantee you, the people that Sharon's working with that come in at a 111, when they've raised their and there's certain people that I'm thinking about right now, when they've raised their essential skills levels from 111 to 333 over a period of 2 or 3 or 4 months, I guarantee you their emotional intelligence level has gone up as well, simply in the pride of reaching that goal, right? And not just that, about having the support of Sharon and having the support of family members and having the support of other students in that path. You can argue with me, but I don't think there's any way your emotional intelligence can't go up in that situation. Okay, so the train the trainer, I'll talk about that later. Yeah.
What was the 25% of those tested? How many
About 1,500,
No, there's over 1,000 people in our
over
database.
1,000, that's great.
So we're looking at 750 people need essential skills up here.
You're busy.
So, once, as I said before, once the 333 is achieved, they have two choices they can make within their education and employment plan. They can either go into our upper level trainings, or they can go directly to work, dependent on the employer's needs and their qualifications within their resume. They get to the 333 and there's jobs out there and they don't have the other qualifications, we'll then get them those qualifications. That's what that slide says. Okay, so here's our Tier 2 industry-specific training. You know, our big ones are our heavy equipment operator course, drill core tech. We've run human resource management programs. We're right now running an associate certificate in entrepreneurialism. Whatever's identified by the mining industry or industries, not industries, but occupations related to mining, if they tell us there's a need or we recognize a need, we'll put the program on, but there has to be a link to employment, right? We don't just train for the purpose of training. So these are basically all the industry-specific training programs that we have access to or that we've created through our post-secondary partners. And of course, the Tier 3 is all the trade-specific training that we put people through. So, everybody has to go through Tier 1. Everybody has to get to the 333. But it is possible for people to go from Tier 1 to Tier 3. Right? You don't have to take an industry-specific training to get to a trades training. If you want to be a welder, all you have to do is get to the 333, and we'll then enroll you or help you enroll in a welding program at one of our post-secondary institutions. Okay. So, access to Tier 1. Meeting the needs of our clients. And this is some of the stuff that, these are issues that we've encountered over the last 2 years, issues that Grant and his group has assisted us with not being issues anymore. So, meeting the needs of our clients with Escalon Learning Solutions. So, the geographical challenge, and that was the biggest one for us, and it still continues to be the biggest challenge for us. We have candidates in Kamloops, Merritt, Williams Lake, Quesnel, Prince George, Vandergrift, Hazelton, Dease Lake, Cranbrook, and all points in between. So, for example, if you look at Williams Lake, we have a community that we're working, two communities that we're working very closely right now with, and there's no other way to describe this, who are 5 hours into the bush from Williams Lake, right? So, how do you get essential skills upgrading to groups that are 5 hours into the bush? We also know that our best results as far as essential skills upgrading with our Aboriginal clients, and I say that, I'm making a specific point when I say Aboriginal clients, our best results are shown when there's a combination of both, when there's a face-to-face delivery and then the support of the online learning as well. So here's what we're doing for some of those, a majority of those communities that are removed from sort of centralized settings, is we'll go out and through our post-secondary partners or groups like Big Nada, we will have them go out and deliver a lengthy face-to-face essential skills program. So they'll go in for 6 or 8 weeks and they'll do nothing but focus on life skills and essential skills. Once that is done, there needs to be a support within the community, or else there's the opportunity for that to be lost, right? So what we'll then do is through ourselves and our industry partners and our First Nations partners, what we'll do is we'll actually purchase computers. We'll take those computers and we'll load everything on to those computers that need to be on those computers for the Escalon programs to work. We'll then take those computers based on the number of people that will need upgrading within the communities. We'll ship those computers into those communities. We'll then take at least one person, sometimes two people, from those communities who we believe that we can rely on as supports, as instructors, and we'll bring them all down from different regions, bring them together in one setting. Grants group will come down and train them to be trainers.
These are the people within the community themselves.
So the
this person
education
from
coordinator.
Deeslik, this person
Yep.
from.
So you're exactly right. We had, I think, 3 communities in Dees Lake that you guys did with 9 people, or
Something like that,
right.
yeah.
So the way we term it is the community needs to supply us with at least 2 people that are going to be long-term employees of the band. There's no sense us training people if Tuesday they're going to walk away from their jobs, right? So in Gitxsan territory, for example, Grant came up, Sharon went up, and they trained members of 6 different communities in one setting. They then go back with the licenses and the computers, and they've got those supports within the community to assist their members. So again, the next step is, if necessary, based on what the post-test will say or the post-assessment will say, we'll actually take the Pignatas of the world and the K-Techs of the world and go back in and do another face-to-face delivery, right? I know that there's better methods of doing that out there. We'll talk about those later, but as of right now, and as we progress, that's what we've done. And it's better than what was previously existing in each of those communities. So the 14-14, the reason that's there is because we've already done that in 14 communities, and those are the most remote communities that you can think of. Within a couple months, we'll do it in at least 14 more communities. So the next step for us is through groups like Douglas College, is to have those exact same people that Grant's group trained. I would like to see that they're all trained in they're all certified in essential skills. So they all become not just trainers and supports, but they all become actual teachers. We'll also certify, as we move forward, all of our program coaches will be certified in essential skills. And all will become TALs and vigilators for BC Amta. So what that does is at any time we can have people TALs tested and we can have them upgraded. What I should say, and Sharon will touch on this, is although we have all these people trained, we will still utilize the Plato Escalon package in our face-to-face delivery, as Sharon does on a daily basis. So, you're up, I think.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
That would be you.
So I would just like to talk a little bit more about the actual program that we offer for essential skills. We try to remove as many barriers as possible for all of our First Nations people because they're faced with a lot. So one of the things that we do first, which Leonard mentioned, is we do an education plan. We call it our essential skills plan. And that's just to make sure that the candidates know what they're responsible for, so that we are going forward on a clear path, and the program coaches, and they know that everybody knows that they're going to be in ESU and they've committed to it. That they know that this is the next step with them, with BC Amta, to move forward. We offer pretty flexible scheduling and kind of a pushover. So I usually do a 1-week orientation with a group of people, usually 10 because our computer lab can hold 10 people. And I will get them signed up onto the Plato program and go over how our program works actually too. And then once they're really comfortable with it, then they are welcome to take and sign up at home and do it when it best fits their schedule. Because we've had people, because I can go on and check when they've been on, people that go on between 1 and 5 in the morning, and that just is the best time for them.
wouldn't be the best time for me. I always tell them, don't call me if you have problems. Try to use that help button. And because we have so many people that do come from out of town, if they're coming from an hour or two away, if we've determined that their computer skills are strong enough, we will offer a one-day session so that they can go away and be able to work on it and not have to take a whole week off of work to come and attend our program. So we try to be as accommodating as we can, but we also make sure that they know they're responsible for keeping regular contact with me. I'm not going to be the one that's going to chase them down. They have to call me every week or message me every week to let me know how they're doing. We really like to make our candidates responsible and help them gain those confidence and skills. We utilize custom learning paths, which have been developed for us by grant, that really relate directly to the TOWs. So we have document use, reading, and numeracy, levels 1, 2, and 3. So based on their TOWS scores, I can put them all into individualized plans, so not everybody is doing the exact same thing. It really depends on you and what you come in at, and I will sign you up on that program. What we have found is that it does really help. I really like the program in that it is so user-friendly. I can have 10 people on there, and once, you know, most of the people are really comfortable with computers, and they're really great on it, and they can go off and do their own thing. But then there's always there's a few older candidates that we get that are not so comfortable with technology. I remember this one guy, and he came in and he just kept hitting the mouse. What is this thing? I was like, okay, you gotta stop hitting it. But yeah, so it allows you to have that more one-on-one time with people that come in. And we try to, so people can come in, spend that 1 week, go away, and just keep contacting me. But a lot of our candidates don't have computers at home or internet access at home, so they're still welcome to come back to our lab and utilize it there too. I just began a pilot project with a group up at KRCC, and they actually, what is it? Kamloops Correctional.
Kamloops Regional Correctional Center.
Yeah. They don't have internet access, actually. It was interesting, actually. I've noticed all these nervous habits I'm doing right now were way worse than when I went I was like, oh my God, I gotta stop doing this.
So how do you overcome that if there's no internet access? Like, that's one of the things that we have problems with is bandwidth. And people
Yes.
getting kicked out of the system all the time.
So what I did was I used a combined approach, like, because we definitely have curriculum. I have curriculum from before we signed up with Grant's program, and I combined that with curriculum off of the Plato program. A lot of the ones in ours have, what is it, the home?
The offline activities?
Offline activities. And I was able to utilize a lot of those, and they were excellent teaching resources. I probably should have went on a little earlier because there might have been manuals in there that I could have found somewhere else. I would have had it all together, but I went through and printed off each one separately. So that's how I did it. I printed the offline activities and utilized them up there. They're a great group. This is not
You have them side by side.
yeah, I did. So what we offer as part of our essential skills is really we're offering life skills too, because our ESU program has a number of expectations that match employer expectations, that they need to be there when they say they're going to be there on time, that they are going to follow through on their training plan, and we really make the candidates responsible for that. We put that in their court. We do keep track and regularly have report cards on them so that the program coaches know if they are meeting their commitments. One of the really great things about working with a group of people, and some people are not so strong on computers and everything, is really to see the teamwork in the classroom. When those students that, it's actually really exciting for me for the students that don't have the computer skills, and they've been there for a few weeks, are able to help somebody else when that comes in you. That's always an exciting part for me, that they're actually able to share knowledge, because then it helps increase their confidence. It's just one of those things. And basically, that's what we're trying to do, is teach them those employability skills that are going to help make them successful when they go on. The Plato program has, I would have to say it's everybody that has rewritten the TOWs at the end of it, we're at probably, I would like to say, an 80–85% success on the TOWs after it. We've had candidates that have started out at 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, and they've been really successful after completing the program. I mean, for them, it's not fast. It's like 3 or 4 months of commitment on their part to be able to complete that program. And they've experienced a lot of success, which is really great to see, because you do see that emotional intelligence increase, their confidence increase. Thank you. I can.
Anyways, that's it. Questions?
Now, your organization, how, is it a consortium of industry, or how is that, yeah, how did you make that?
So it's a federally funded program.
So is that something that's in Saskatchewan, are you aware of? Like chemical and all those?
I have no idea.
No, I don't think.
I know that I've had calls from Saskatchewan. But I
Yeah,
don't know if you have
yeah,
some sort
I
of
can see
program.
why, yeah.
Yeah. So the funding itself is from the federal government, but we never do anything on our own, right? So what we
Right.
do is any program that we provide to an industry partner or to a First Nations community, we start at a 50-50 split. So what happens is, that's where I always start with somebody, is it's a 50-50 split. The industry partner tells me what they can commit to the
Okay.
program. The, say, Pignata will commit something, the First Nations group will commit something, we pick up the rest. That's typically how it works, and that's why I was saying before that every sort of partnership is completely different.
Yeah. That's great, thank you for that. I was curious.
It makes sense, because there's just so many people doing, accessing funding and doing different programs and overlapping, and it just becomes, really kind of inefficient. So to have an organization like this, just, really makes sense. Profits alike.
Yeah, I was just curious, you mentioned that you sent trainers back into the community. Are you finding then from that, now you're getting even more interest in people wanting to take training or become more aware of the essential skills?
Yeah, absolutely, and the goal for us, and I know this may sound bad to a lot of people, but and it sounds bad to me when I say it, the goal for us is to make the community self-sufficient, right? If they can take control of that and do all their essential skill stuff themselves, then we'll pull back, right? That's the goal for us. So yeah, absolutely. We've had people who have done that, and then done those small little trainer things, and then have gone on to do way bigger things, right?
So I guess this is really a good argument for broadband access all across Canada, remote communities. When you hear your story, how important broadband is.
Yeah, and so whenever we can, that's the other thing, we have the ability to influence the industry partner, right? So I can tell you, this is no secret, I can tell you that I sometimes end up getting in the middle of negotiation between the community and the industry partner, the mining company, right? Of course, that negotiation all becomes about money. One of the things that I whisper into the ear of the First Nations community is, the first thing that you should be asking that mining company to pay for is internet access, right? Of course, it serves our purpose, but it serves their purpose greater.
Did you say how long the training is for the instructors of these sites? How long are they usually trained for?
That portion was only, what, 2.5 days?
2.5 to 3 days.
And is there follow-up, or do you find there's a need for follow-up?
On our side, like from the Plato and Esport side of things, we follow up with phone, we follow up with web access, whatever we can do to address issues as people begin to implement, we do that remotely.
To that end, I can vouch that Grant is a telephone call away, and then so I called him a couple of times, and then he also introduced me to Crystal, who was pretty much a live wire here, and they get back to you if they don't pick up the phone right away.
But like Sharon, we don't take calls between 1 and 5 a.m.
I never tried that. Also, another thing, Leonard mentioned about partnership. The Skills and Partnership Funds. It's not awarded to you just like that. The government now wants you to show multiple partners and who you can team up with to get before they will grant you some funds.
And I think in the last round that we just finished, I think I ended up writing 9 letters of support for 9 different applications. So the system works, right?
So you said each partnership with the communities is different, though. It all depends on the need of the specific mining company and the specific needs of the community.
Yep. And it all starts with the mining company or the industry partner, but the control of that really is about the First Nations community, if that makes any sense.
Any other questions? Well, I'd just like to thank Leonard and Sharon for their excellent presentation today and very